Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shavango. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. We are back with another video of Booked and Busy. I get to this side, we read. We're readers, right? If you want to be a leader, you gotta be a reader, right? Or just if you want to be informed and if you want a transformed life and a transformed perspective, you have to read. So I know some people find it hard to read because they prefer audio or they prefer reviews, but I love reading. So today we're going to be reviewing What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. I got this book for my 22nd birthday. That was like 3 years ago, but I didn't read it until this year. So I borrowed it to somebody and then they brought it back. So I read it in the past week, and guys, I'm mind blown away. And it's so beautiful because I was reading this book with The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. So I finished this one first because also it's a little bit smaller compared to that one, and like this one was just moving so fast because it was just it led me to page after page. So the gist of this whole book is it's a book basically that affirms you, that reassures you, and that helps you become deliberate and intentional about the type of person that you are or the type of person that you want to be, and it actually helps you make decisions and not feel bad. It helps you set boundaries and not feel bad. It helps you become more of you without feeling bad. Basically, it assures you, right? So there's a couple of things, like you guys know already, when I read, I highlight. There's a couple of things I want to share with you guys, but this book really touched me. I'm so grateful for Umama O taking her time and actually sharing and pouring her heart into this book, What I Know for Sure. Like the title tells you, as is, like inside the book, it's what I know for sure in many words, right? So the starting point, we're going to start at chapter. Okay, it's not chapter by chapter, it's just different titles, right? So the first part of the book is the introduction, obviously, and then it speaks of joy. The first part is joy. Then it says, sit down, fist on your life. Basically, and this is a quote by Derek Walcott. Basically, enjoy your life for what it is, right? That is what joy means. Joy means enjoying your life to the fullest. It means understanding that you're who you are, where you need to be. There's nothing that you need to alter or be externally for you to experience joy. Joy starts within, and the moment you accept yourself for what you are and you understand that this is me, this is where I'm at, joy begins then, right? And then the starting point, she talks about how so she loves chocolate, right? She had a bad relationship with food, right? And I think I love this book so much because it speaks of the journey I'm on, right? I'm on a health journey. I'm trying to know myself more. I'm trying to understand my body better, to see what works for me, what doesn't work for me, to see what I need to remove or what I need to minimize, right? So when she said, this chapter, when I read it, it was very affirming. So she talks about how she loves chocolate, right? At some point, she used to eat it like almost every day, but she got to a point where she disciplined herself. And this is what she said. So I've learned to eat, okay. So this is what she says. I have a lot of strong beliefs. The value of eating well is one of them, right? I know for sure that a meal that brings you real joy will do more good in the long and short term than a lot of filler foods that leave you standing in your kitchen, roaming from cabinet to cabinet, fridge to cabinet, right? I call it the grazing feeling. You want something, but you can't figure out what it is. All the carrots, celery, and skinless chicken in the world can't give you the satisfaction of one incredible piece of chocolate if that's what you really crave. So she basically talks about how, sometimes we have these cravings, and we have these cravings because we don't feed and nourish our body to its fullness, And she also talks about her weight journey, her health journey, and she talks about how I'm gonna elaborate more on it, but she talks about how she realized a lot. It's not really about the food, it's about the internal issues that you have, right? So she had an understanding. So she says, so I've learned to eat one piece of chocolate, maximum two, or dare myself to stop and relish it, knowing full well, like Scarlett O'Hara said, that tomorrow is another day. There's always more where that came from. I don't have to consume the whole thing just because it's there. What a concept. And I think for me, this was very moving because constantly, like even in general things, like our relationships, in things that we engage in. We feel like just because you've been given an opportunity, you need to say yes. Just because you've been placed in that room, you need to speak. Just because somebody has asked you, you need to answer. Sometimes you don't have to. You know, it's important that you understand that, okay, yeah, I can actually have this opportunity, but I can say no, you know, because I've got an understanding of who I am. And then also, I love the whole food part. Usually we were taught, I know I've got this bad habit, but it's changing now, where I eat everything in my plate. And I don't want to call it a trauma, but it's because when I grew up, I knew that I had to finish everything on my plate. But now I'm understanding, just because it's on my plate, I don't have to finish it. I could easily eat, and once I'm satisfied and full, then it's fine. I let go, right? And then guys, I enjoyed this book, eh? I enjoyed it so much. I had a time of my life. And then again, I had an aha moment where she says, when you see obstacles for what they are, you never lose faith in the path it takes to get you where you want to go. Because this I know for sure, who you are meant to be evolves from where you are right now. So learning to appreciate your lessons, mistakes, and setbacks as stepping stones to the future is a clear sign that you're moving in the right direction. So acceptance. I love also what Michelle Obama says. The starting point is accepting where you are, accepting who you are, just seeing yourself. Do you see yourself? Do you understand that this is where I am? And when you understand and accept where you are, you open room for you to grow, you open room for you to evolve. But if you're not accepting of your current circumstance, then it becomes problematic, because you're ignorant and you're avoiding the situation and you don't act accordingly. You end up acting out of character. I loved this book so much. Like, I don't want to give you guys everything, because I want you guys to go buy this book, really, like, you finish it quickly because of how amazing and beautiful it is, right? So another yes ma'am moment. She says, I've seen so here I loved how she was talking about relationships, right? She talks about how, and I've realized most women, like, we go through this, right, whereby you're running in circles and circles, where you can see that you're being fooled, where you can see that you're being played, but because you have this belief that this person is going to change, or you have this belief that you need to be with a man to be full, you need to be with another person to be full, or to be fully whole, or to be happy. But that's the thing, you don't need to. So she talks about how she was in a relationship, a very toxic relationship, where she took her time, wrote this man a 12-page letter expressing herself. And when she read that letter, she was like, thank goodness I never sent that letter. She was so embarrassed, because it's like, why would I degrade myself so much? Why would I reduce myself so much just to being with a man, or just to selling myself to a man? And then she says, I've seen so many women give themselves up for men who clearly didn't give a two boots about them. I've seen so many women settle for crumbs. But now I know what a relationship built on real love feels. I know that a relationship built on real love feels good, right? It should bring you joy, not just some of the time, but most of the time. It should never require you losing your voice, your self-respect, your dignity. Whether you're 25 or 65, it should involve bringing all of who you are to the table and walking away with even more. That's the thing. If you're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a career one, or it's employment, whatever, if that relationship stunts your voice, if that relationship puts you in a box, if that relationship doesn't grow you, if that relationship doesn't evolve you, or it doesn't make you feel good, it doesn't give you joy, then you're in the wrong place. And many other times we make excuses. We feel like it's okay to go through obstacles, right? But sometimes, you know, a person's behaviors and actions, they will tell you how a person exactly feels about you, you know. So I love how she says she got to a point where she was like, no, I'm not doing this to myself. I am not gonna degrade myself like this. I'm not going to stoop so low, right? And then she comes again. She says, I've had moments of real devastation in my life. We all have, but I've been sustained by the grace and love of friends who have asked me, is there anything I can do to help? Not knowing what they already have, just what they have already done, just by asking. And here's another thing. Sometimes people think they to do these big things in our lives, but sometimes it's you picking up the phone and saying, hi, how are you? Are you good? And sometimes it's just you picking up the phone and saying, hey, I see you, you know, you're doing great, you know, can I help in any way? You know, that's enough, you know. And also, I feel like I'm in a season where I've been so blessed. to have the most beautiful friends and the most beautiful relationships around me, because also I think I've walked into that path or into the season because I've been deliberate and intentional about whom I keep in my space, about whom I want to talk to about certain things, and it's worked wonderfully because you have these honest and genuine individuals that want what's best for you, and they're always willing to say, how can I help, what can I do to make the situation better? Because sometimes we know situations are out of our control, but just that mere question to say, what can I do to help? What can I do to make things better? That's what's important. And then she also says to know that people care about how you're doing when the doing isn't good. That's what love is. I feel blessed to know this for sure. I think that's one of my biggest blessings as well, to say I know for a fact that there's somebody thinking about me when I'm not okay. There's somebody praying for me when I'm not okay. And it's beautiful to have that. And sometimes people think it's impossible to have genuine, healthy relationships. You create that. You have the choice and the ability to be in healthy relationships in whatever form, whether it's employment, whether it's dating, whether it's friends. You get to decide what comes in and what goes out of your life, right? Oh, guys, this is so amazing. Another banger where she talks about her relationship with food, right? And I want everybody, I know a lot of women also are struggling with accepting their weight and stuff like that, right? But she says, I was 23 years old, I was 148 pounds, a size 8, and I thought I was fat. The doctor put me on a 1,200 calorie regimen, and in less than 2 weeks I had lost 10 pounds. 2 months later I had regained 12 pounds. Thus began the cycle of discontent, the struggle with my body, the struggle with myself. I joined the dieting brigade, signing on for both the Beverly Hills, Atkins, Gasdale, cabbage soup, and even the banana hot dog and egg diets. You think I'm kidding? I wish. What I didn't know is that with each diet, I was stuffing my muscles, slowing my metabolism, and setting up myself to gain even more weight. And it's important that as you go on a journey to sort of enhance your health. Okay, it's a weight loss journey, but I love to look at it as a health journey. You need to understand that those quick diets don't work. Those quick diets are only going to set you back. They're only setting you up for failure, because you end up getting to a point whereby you end up not liking yourself, or they end up, like she said, she did this diet, and then after a few 1 month later or 2 weeks later, then she regained all the weight. So find healthy means to actually shed off that fat, that unhealthy fat. You know, it's important that you find means that work for you, right? And then she goes on to say, for so many years I had let my heart down by not giving it support it needed, overeating, overstressing, overdoing. No wonder when I lay down at night it couldn't stop racing. I believe everything that happens in our lives has a meaning, that each experience brings a message if we are willing to hear it. So what was my speeding heart trying to tell me? I still didn't know the answer, yet simply asking the question caused me to look at my body and how I had felt to honor it. That's another thing. You know, often do we think weight gain or weight loss is necessarily about your appearance, but usually it's about honoring yourself. It's about respecting the work God did with yourself. God gave you that body. You know, looking after yourself is also a form of worship. It's a form of saying, God, I'm grateful you gave me this body. And also another thing that we don't realize, when we're constantly overeating, overstressing, overdoing, you end up stressing and frustrating this body that carries you. And when you frustrate and stress this body, it's going to tell you. That's why you have back pains, you have headaches, it's important to look into, what have I been eating, what have I been doing, have I been resting? It's important to be a wholesome human being, guys. It's important that you rest, you work, you do everything possible to experience life to the fullest, right? And then also another thing she says, this is the body you've been given. Love what you've got. That's another thing. Yes, I know we all want this picture perfect bodies and all of that, right? But it's important that you love what God gave you. He knows why he gave you that body. He understands why he gave you that body. Appreciate it. Wake up every morning and be excited for that body. Be excited that that body is carrying your soul. Be excited that body is carrying your spirit, right? Another one, she says, it's okay to grow. You know, often we don't want to age. We think, oh my God, I'm turning 25. That's getting too fast. I'm turning 30. It's too much. I'm turning 40. It's okay to grow. You are never going to be the same person forever, right? I love what she says. She says, you're not the same woman you were a decade ago. If you are lucky, you're not the same woman you were last year. The whole point of aging, as I see it, is change. If we let them, our experiences can keep teaching us about ourselves. I celebrate that. I honor it, hold it to the reverence, and I'm grateful for every age I'm blessed to become. That's another thing. Do not be shy or feel like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. It's important that you grow. It's important that you allow that change to take place, right? And then, oh guys, I enjoyed Lana. And then in this chapter, she talks about possibility. I love also how she speaks of gratitude. It's important to be thankful. You know, sometimes we look for these big things in our lives that we need to be thankful for, but it's as simple as saying, God, thank you for giving me light during the day. Thank you for giving my legs to be able to walk. Thank you for the sunrise. These days of late, the sunrise and the sunset, so beautiful. I remember I was taking a walk. I was like, oh my God, thank you, God. This is, for me to have the privilege to be able to look at this or to be able to experience this. It's your love, you know, it's your love for me made manifest through these things that are surrounding me, you know. So it's important that you're grateful every morning, every day. Find something to say, God, I thank you for, and you realize a grateful heart attracts abundance and more, you know. And then possibility. It's important that you don't cap yourself, right? I love also what she says about learning to know other voices, right? She says, so as long as you're still worried about what other people think of you, you are owned by them. Only when you require no approval from the outside yourself can you own yourself. The moment you're still concerned about what other people think, guys, you're enslaved to their thoughts. You're enslaved to who they are. You know, you're enslaved to how they see you and how they view. Your liberation will come from saying, okay, I don't care what you see or what you think or however you feel about me. It's important how you see yourself first before how other people see you, you know. It's important that you vote for yourself. It's important that you pick yourself up. It's important that you have, there's a part in the book where she talks about how it's important that you speak to yourself nicely. Be kind, you know, be kind to yourself. Wake up every morning and be like, good morning, gorgeous. I've started implementing this thing where I wake up in the morning before anybody speaks to me. I say, good morning, gorgeous. How are you, gorgeous? You're amazing. I love you. You know, I tell this myself in the morning and it steers up the day in the right direction. So even if people don't say good morning to me, I don't have a hectic expectation or a crazy expectation because I've spoken to myself. I've given myself something that I'm expecting from other people that I can do for myself. Also, it's also important that we understand that it's a great responsibility that we give to other people when we expect them to see us, when we expect them to carry us, when we expect them to give us joy and happiness. Give that to yourself first. And when you give that to yourself first, usually you attract it. You know, you can't set a standard that you yourself can't even maintain. That would be ridiculous. You know, and then she talks about how she finally decided to break up with the man, that kept on playing her. It took her time. She kept on praying. And I know I've been through that whereby you pray to God. You're like, yo, God, please, I'm begging you, please, 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 make this person change, whatever the case may be. But the person doesn't change. The person remains the same, you know. And then she's like, she was grateful that she got an opportunity in a different place. And then she was able to leave this person. But also it's me saying too, when you see those red flags, I know it's not easy, but it's important to take yourself serious enough to understand that I'm beyond this. I can't settle for mediocre. I deserve better. I deserve more, you know. And then she says, okay, until one day I got it. While I was waiting on God, God was waiting on me. Sometimes we think we're waiting on God, but God is waiting for you to let go. God is waiting for you to come to the altar and say, God, here I am. Here are my burdens. This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. Take it over. So she says, until one day I got it. While I was waiting on God, God was waiting on me. He was waiting on me to make a decision to either pursue the life that was meant for me or to be stifled by the one I was leaving. I recognize the truth that I am all right just as I am. I am enough all by myself. I think this was the line. This was the perfect line. This line was my favorite, where she said, I am enough all by myself. And there's another one where she says, She says, I am not limited by other people's thoughts. Don't make other people's thoughts or how they view you your problem. Don't let them limit you. And then, oh my God, guys, thoroughly enjoyed this book. Ooh. And then there's another powerful statement. She says, too often we block the power that is ever present available to us. Like I call it the Holy Spirit. Sometimes we block the power within that is always available to help us, to assist us, right? Because we're wrapped around it, we're wrapped up in doing that we lose the sight of being. Sometimes stop and just be. Allow yourself to be, as opposed to doing. What's the next job? Who's the next person? Be still and peaceful. And sometimes you're able to hear God or create the best of creations when you're in stillness. It's important that you maintain a still life, right? Guys, I love this. Okay, I'm not gonna give you everything. You know, yeah, I love also, this was one of my favorite, similar to one of my favorite quotes in high school and in uni. You know, she says, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. Remember that. Mine was always saying, I was always saying, God didn't bring me this far to embarrass me. So this is also me reminding you that God is with you. Whatever circumstance that you're going through, God is with you. God is ever with you. You know, he puts you there because he knows you're capable of coming out, right? And then, another one, she talks about how it's important to listen to your body. Your body will never lie to you. Your body will tell you when you're in the wrong place. Your body will tell you when you're in the wrong rooms. Your body will tell you when you're surrounded by the wrong people at the wrong time. So it's important that you listen to your body. Do not discount it and be like, oh no, you know, this can't be right. If you walk into a space and your body cringes, your tummy turns and all of that, just know that you're in the wrong room. Because half the time when horrible things happen, we're like, oh my God, I knew when I walked in I had a headache. When I walked in I didn't feel great. When I woke up that morning I didn't want to leave. So she talks about her experience where her plane almost crashed, you know. Oh guys, what a blessing. What a blessing, what a blessing. Another one, it's important to understand that it's okay for you to say no. It's okay for you to not, like, don't do things that you don't want to do because people are saying do it. Because people are saying, oh no, if one has money, she must do this. Do you believe in that thing? What is the intention? I love how she speaks greatly on intention and deliberacy. Once you're clear about your intentions, every other thing follows, because you've got an understanding that my purpose is serving people and this is how I serve people. And if you have that understanding, then you narrow your you narrow your focus into these important things that you believe in, right? As opposed to placing yourself everywhere and in every place, right? She makes an example about this one famous person who wanted donations from her. Then she said that she asked herself, do I believe in this cause? When I give this money, is it going to make a difference? Do I even like this thing that this person is doing? And the answers were no. And she had to tell the person to say, no, I can't donate. Yes, at some point she felt like, what if this person thinks I'm stingy? But it's important that you place boundaries strict enough to actually say, you know what, I can't do this. I don't believe in this. I don't have to say no. That's the thing. You don't have to say no. Amanda Dambuza says her standard answer is no. You know, and it's hard when you have to learn to practice boundaries, or when you have to learn to stop pleasing people, especially when it's generational. I know I suffer from generational people pleasing. I grew up around people that were people pleasing, you know, and for me, I always thought that standard answer is yes, and the standard way of doing things is making everybody happy. So I walked around carrying things that I didn't like, being part of things I didn't understand, making friends with people I didn't understand and people that I didn't like. But in the past 3 years, guys, I know I upset a lot of people. I have people asking me what changed, and that's the thing, nothing changed. I became more of myself, you know, and I started understanding that no, I don't like this, and it's fine, you know. If a person is icked so much by me not liking this, that's their own problem, but it's for my own good that I walk in the trueness of who I am, and I walk in the path that God intended for me, you know. And then another thing she says, you have one life. Give yourself the best shot, you know. In everything that you do your best. If you're gonna fail, let it be sure that you actually tried your level best. Do not fail because you didn't put in the best. Also, live your life to the fullest. Spend it with people you like. Do the things you like. Don't do things for cloud chasing. You know, with social media and all of these things, we often want to do things because so and so is doing it. Don't do that to yourself. You only have one life, and life is very short. It's a miracle that you're watching this video. It's a miracle that you can breathe. So it's important that you do not put yourself in a position whereby you are carrying so many burdens that are not even important to you, that you are living vicariously through other people. These people that you're trying to impress, these people that you're trying to like do stuff for, these people have their own lives as well. Should you pass on, should something happen to you, you know, you're like, people move on, you know. So it's important that you have one life. Understand you have one life, one body. You look after that body. You look after yourself holistically. You look after yourself spiritually. You pray if you need to. You meditate if you need to. You know, you do things that enhance yourself, because also there's a sermon I was watching by Pastor Michael Todd. He says many other times we think we're pouring, but we're licking unto people. And when you lick unto people, you actually cause damage to them. You know, you cause damage to them. So it's important that you pour from an overflowing cup. I can't stress that enough. And then also another thing she talks about, many of the time we think acquiring things makes up for a good life. It's a substitute for a good life or a healthy life. Buying a car doesn't mean you have a good life. You know, working 24 hours doesn't mean you have a good life. It's not the materialistic things that mean you have a good life. It's the small things, the small changes, the impacts you make, you know, making somebody smile. But also it starts with you making yourself smile, feeling good about yourself, accepting yourself for who you are, you know. And then love this, you know. And then she talks about how it's important to actually declutter, you know, let go of certain things. Don't just be acquiring things, buying things, inviting people into your space and all of these things. Guys, numbers don't mean anything. You could have 4 friends for the rest of your life and you live your best life, and you could have 100 friends and have drama and have them not even make it to your funeral. You know, it's important that you have, you know, there's a book I was reading about minimalism, right? I'm not saying everybody must be minimalistic, but minimalism is usually quality, because you know what to focus on. You know what's what. You know where to expect what from where. You know where to go to for what. But if you're crowded and cluttered, you don't know which direction you're going. You just keep moving. And it's important to understand that also when you remove things, tangible things, and even people or spaces, or when you move away from spaces that don't serve you anymore, you're opening room for growth. You're opening room for you to become better. You're opening room for new things, fresh things. There's I think there's a verse that says you can't mix old wine with new wine, or it's a saying. But yeah, when you declutter, you open room for your own personal growth. Oh, guys, okay, I did talk about you being holistically looking after yourself. And then also it's important that you understand that many other times our weight issues, okay, so firstly, it's important that you understand that if you don't decide, nothing will happen. It starts with a choice. You make a decision. You decide what you want to do, right? And then another powerful thing she says is, over the years, I've had many people lamenting how God allows this or that. Another lesson I've learned is that people suffer not because of what God does, but because of what we do and do not do to each other. You know, so it's also important that we carry ourselves in a manner that enhances ourselves, enhances other people, and enhances the causes that we care and love. You know, we care about and love, right? And say God did this, God did that. And it's important how we also evaluate what contributions do we have to other people having such a horrible experience of life, you know. And then she talks about how my weight was an indicator warning, a flashlight blaring my disconnection from the center of myself. What I know for sure is that for me, weight is a spiritual issue, not a food issue. Your weight is really an invitation to your best life. That's another thing. Your weight will tell you, like, something is wrong. Like, for instance, I know when I've gained more than I should gain, I breathe heavily. You know, I'm not supposed to be breathing like that. I know when I've gained more than I should, or when I've eaten more than I should, I get body pains and all of these things. So your body is actually an indicator of what's going on internally as well. We usually think it's a food thing, but you have to ask yourself the root cause, like things like, why am I eating so much chocolate? Is it because I'm having anxiety? Is it because I'm stressed? Is it because I don't have good food? You know, it's a more rooted issue. Who? Yeah, basically, guys, I'm done. So she says, I know for sure your journey begins with the choice to get up, step out, and live fully. I think that the most important things I had is live fully, live fully, fully. You have one life, treat it with respect, be intentional, be deliberate about it. Yeah, you guys should actually get this book. It's really so amazing, and you can finish it really quickly. If I didn't have other things to do, I would have finished it within a day. So what I know for sure, when I was done, I created my own sentence. What I know for sure is that God has given me the ability, the guidance, and the direction and the capabilities for me to become everything that He has intended for me to be. That's what I know for sure. What is it that you know for sure? Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to be love and light. God bless you.